We were obviously up and down within our non-conference schedule, but so a lot of things that were positive things. Our guys were very competitive. They played 40 minutes of trying to compete and do things, and we were still trying to figure out, hey, who's good at what, and that kind of thing when you have so many freshmen stepping into new roles.
Every day we just put our hard hats on. Coach always preached to work hard. He got the best out of us. If not, he'll make sure he get the best out of us in practice. We knew we can get better, and we knew that we was right there. It wasn't a sense of, downfall or blame anybody. We all just stayed positive, like Coach told us to. I just told the guys, as a leader, I can't get down on myself, because if I get down on myself, it just kind of portrays how the team's going to act. So I just try to stay as positive as I can, come to practice, work hard.
This league is what it is, and we knew obviously there was no elite team, and certainly there's no team that can't beat you on any given night. Those first few games we had chances to win. They were at home, both Bryan and FDU. We felt like we outplayed them for the majority of the games, and then those last 4 minutes we just didn't have the will, or whatever you want to call it, to finish those games. And I think that's where the lack of experience still came in, and you just have to go through those growing pains when you have such a young group. Not only am I trying to figure out, they're trying to figure out, who gets the ball and where do they get them in those situations, and trying to make plays down the stretch of games. And frustrating, yes, but at the same time, okay, you can still see some positive things from the group. There was certainly a lot of talent there. We just had to kind of continue to work through those things.
No matter what, now we can play any of the freshmen. That's just that confidence factor that we have in practice. And I think that just comes from playing with one another each day and learning their strengths and, what they like to do, just hanging out with them. I like these guys. They listen. That's one thing I like about it. They make my job easier as a leader, and I just think they got a bright future ahead for everybody.
I think it just gives us 10, 11 guys that you can feel confident in playing. And that's helped out a lot. And now you see, okay, great. All of a sudden, our last 5 games, we win 4 out of 5. Had 2 really good wins at home against 2 of the better teams in our league. And our guys' confidence is certainly growing.
I think once we get in the playoffs, we should be able to shock a lot of people just from our talent and how we've been playing these last couple of games. And we keep it up. Anything's possible. We can achieve anything we want.
There's still so much room for improvement with this group. I'm hoping we can start putting together 35, 40 minutes of more consistent basketball. And if we can do that on the road and adhering to our philosophy, then I think we'll give ourselves chances to win on the road. Hopefully with a young group, they understand why they won the last 2 games. And they can continue to just really focus on those things that they can control and competing every day and executing both on the offense and defense end.